Welcome CTs and welcome to another edition of Everything Weird, Nothing Normal. CT stand for Conspiracy Theorists, I'm sure you're aware of that, but I would like to welcome anyone who's interested in the weird and wonderful. Now, if you can you subscribe to this channel? Because once I can get enough subscribers I can go live, because that's my plan. And when we go live we can discuss it on real time, you know, the subjects we're talking about. But I want today to talk about the Billy Meier case. Okay, now the Billy Meier photo was made famous, there it is, by the X-Files. It's the photo that Mulder had in his basement. But he apparently photographed hundreds, and I think it's a great one to end the photo session with. Okay, so I'm going to call him Billy, but his real name is Edward Albert Meier. Okay, but I'm going to call him Billy because apparently that's his nickname. That's what his friends gave him because he dressed weird. So, Billy, as he is well known, was born in 1937 in Switzerland, and he is the source of some of the most controversial UFO pictures out there. Like I say, he's done loads. He presents these pictures as evidence to support his claim that he is in contact with ETs and aliens. In addition, he also presented other controversial material such as metal samples, sound recordings and film footage. Now, Billy claims that the Pleasuran homeworld is called Era. It is located in a dimension slightly out of sync with ours and is 80 light years beyond the Pleiades star system, beyond the Orion belt. Now, Billy began publishing these photos in the 70s. These pictures were featured in books and magazines all over the world, so they become really famous. Now, the reason he can have all these photos is because he wasn't just taking photos, he was invited inside the ship, he had continuous contact, and apparently they told him loads of stuff. He had detailed conversations with these Pleasureans. He claimed that he had visited other worlds, galaxies and universes with these Pleasureans, and was told to transcript their conversations and travels. And their conversations are really, really detailed, and he's published hundreds of books about them. Now, most of the books were published in German, but some, obviously, are published in English by a bloke called Benjamin Stevens, who done the translation. So there's the book. I'll put a book there, but there are hundreds of these books. Check it out if you want a more detailed analysis of them. Now, the conversations that are published in these books are highly detailed and wide-ranging. Now, they're anything from spirituality, the afterlife, the dangers of mainstream religion, human history, environmental issues such as overpopulation. In addition, he also prophesies and predicts the future in these books. And I will gloss past that quickly at the end. Now, some of the most important evidence for Billy's claims come from his large collection of photographs, and I will stick them all over the place. All right, I'm getting as many as I can. These include images of metal discs floating above the Swiss countryside. I'll put that one there. Pictures of celestial objects taken from a non-earthly viewpoint. I'll put that one there. And pictures of the Pleasureans, apparently, but I haven't found that. These photos, films, etc., and Meiers himself was the subject of an investigation lasting... See, I called him Meiers. These photos, films, etc., and Billy himself was the subject of an investigation lasting 5 years. The investigation was made into a film called Contact back in 1982. The investigation team used a wide range of techniques from computer analysis of the pictures, tonal and dynamic analysis of the recorded sounds, recreation of models, and a polygraph test on Billy himself that apparently he passed. Now, I had a quick glance at it. I must admit I didn't watch it all, but there is a YouTube film of him doing his polygraph test. Now, some UFO researchers, such as Stanton T. Friedman, he don't believe it. He publicly dismisses the Billy case, while others believe the case to be the most studied, validated and thoroughly researched case out there. Photo analysis was performed on the pictures by a physicist called Neil M. Davis in 1978 at the Design Technology in California. His findings said nothing was found to indicate a hoax. Now, recreation of Meiers' pictures were created by a photo expert called Alan Friswell. Now, Alan Friswell built models and staged everything to see if he could recreate the photos. And he did manage to. But he did say that nothing was found. No, he did say it in no way confirms Billy as a hoaxer. And I think, to be honest, he just didn't want a load of hassle if he said he did. But he did manage to recreate the photos. Now, remember I mentioned the metal samples. Now, these metal samples were sent to a chemist who worked at IBM, and his name was Marcel Vogel. Now, Marcel Vogel analysed his metal that he reckoned he got from the Pleasurans, and he said that the metal oxidises really quickly and just breaks down. He says, I've never seen that. If you want a more detailed analysis of the study, you can go to the MUFON site and it will show you. But the metal samples went missing when Vogel's was taking them for more tests. So apparently they just disappeared. Now, you know what I said about the sound? There is, Billy reckons that he recorded his UFO being chased by some jets. Like I said, they have analysed that recording, and if you want to know more about it, go onto the MUFON site because they go into a lot more detail. So, what do you reckon? The Billy Meiers photos. Do you think they're real or do you think they're fake? Do you think he's a charlatan or do you think he really was an ambassador for the human race? And the Pleasurans wanted to tell him everything they knew so he could send it back to us as a message. One last thing about the Billy Meiers case that I think is important to bring up towards the end. Now, he had predictions about the future. He says it in his books. Okay, so and this was done in 1960. So there was a bloke called Holt, his name was. He started investigating all the thousands and thousands of transcript to see if he could find something that was actually based on evidence now that we're back in the 2000s, for instance. Now, I'm going to read you something that he's wrote. He says, during the course of researching thousands of pages of information that Billy claims the extraterrestrials provided, Horn and other researchers have found over 250 examples of specific, previously unknown scientific information that Billy published up to more than 60 years before they were officially discovered. Ironclad proof that Billy published the information first is established internationally by recognised copyright. Conveyed in the clear language of science and subsequently confirmed by NASA discoveries is information about every planet in the solar system, as well as black holes, the speed of gravity, the impending threat posed by asteroids, and terrestrial, environmental and seismic volcanic events. So if I'm reading this right, he predicted it and they've come true. In his presentation, Horn will also show Billy's pre-digital era UFO photos and films, which were authenticated by independent photograph and special effects experts beginning in the late 1970s. In 2017, former top investigator Joe Toysk analysed Billy's even earlier UFO evidence from '64 and concluded that it was indisputably authentic. So, what do you think? So, Horn disagrees that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That was Carl Sagan who said that. While Billy's evidence is certainly extraordinary, the term itself is prejudicial. Wasn't it once extraordinary to claim that the Earth moved around the sun? Testing any claims using scientific methodology will determine the actual facts. The internet allows anyone to examine Billy's evidence, check copyright dates, and use today's state-of-the-art software, not available until decades after Billy took his photos, to analyse and authenticate his evidence. If deemed genuine, we are now confronted with the most important and unexpected discovery in science and human history: the confirmed existence of and ongoing contact with intellectual extraterrestrial life. Should that be the case, we want to pay particular attention to the warnings that have provided about coming environmental, geopolitical and financial events that may threaten our very survival. And I think this may underlying reason for the Billy contacts. And I think this may be the underlying reason for the Billy contacts. So what he's saying is, some of what he's predicted has come true, and there's more to come. And should we say, our future survival is why the Pleasurans were contacting Billy Meiers to begin with. So, what do you think? I'll let you chew on that. Tell me what you think. Come back, let me know. Well, look, thank you ever so much for watching. Like I say, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next week. This is Everything Weird, Nothing Normal.